Home Improvement child star Zachery Ty Bryan, arrested for sixth time in 5 years. A troubling spiral from tool time to turmoil. The freckle-faced teen idol Zachery Ty Bryan, who once delighted viewers as the witty middle son on ABC's cherished sitcom Home Improvement, is back in handcuffs. The 44-year-old actor had a sixth run-in with the law in just 5 years when he was detained in Eugene, Oregon, on Saturday, November 29, 2025. This time, it's a probation violation arising from a chaotic roadside event involving his fiancée, Johnnie Faye Cartwright, and their 3 young children. Questions like, what happened to the kid who fixed cars with Tim Taylor, are circulating as the once promising child star's legal troubles worsen. Can Bryan, a father of 5 now, escape this pattern before it's too late? About 12:30 p.m., the arrest took place at a famous camping spot along Big Fall Creek Road, about 30 miles southeast of Eugene. A pickup truck drove off the road and into a ditch, prompting deputies to react to accusations of reckless endangerment, according to the Lane County Sheriff's Office. Cartwright, 32, and the couple's 3 young children, ages 2, 4, and 6, were inside. They were all shocked but unharmed. Bryan, who had exited the truck moments earlier, was walking along the roadside when the incident occurred. What started as a family trip turned explosive, investigators said. Witnesses reported hearing shouting before Cartwright allegedly attempted to run over Bryan with the truck, missing him by inches before losing control. Bryan dodged the vehicle and was uninjured, but the incident escalated swiftly. The 2 were booked into Lane County Jail when deputies separated them. Bryan faces charges for violating the rules of his probation from a prior domestic violence conviction, no contact with Cartwright without permission, among other restrictions. He's being jailed without bond, with an arraignment slated for Monday. Cartwright, Bryan's fiancée of several years, wasn't spared either. She's charged with 5 counts: driving under the influence of intoxicants, DUIs, 3 counts of reckless endangering, 1 for each child in the truck, and attempted first-degree assault. The children were immediately placed with a family member, and child services is involved. As of Tuesday evening, Cartwright remains in detention. Her arraignment likewise planned for early next week. Neither has entered a plea, and attorneys for both declined comment when reached by phone. This isn't a one-off collapse. It's the latest episode in a tragic tale that has seen Bryan cycle through arrests, convictions, and court-mandated rehab with worrying frequency. Since 2020, the former home improvement standout, best known as Brad Taylor, the tool-savvy youngster who navigated high school drama with siblings Randy and Mark, has racked up charges spanning domestic abuse, DUIs, fraud, and now probation breaches. Every encounter reveals a different aspect of a life gone wrong, from a man battling addiction, rage, and responsibility to a suburban comedy darling. It all began unraveling in October 2020, when Bryan was first arrested in Eugene on accusations of strangulation and 4th-degree assault. Police responded to a 911 call from Cartwright, who stated Bryan had choked her after a drunken altercation at their house. Bryan, then 39, was imprisoned for 2 days before posting $5,000 bail. The case went on for months, with Bryan filing a not guilty plea and claimed self-defense. But in July 2021, he struck a deal, admitting guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of criminal mischief and menacing. Sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation, he was required to undergo a 52-week batterer's intervention program, refrain from alcohol and drugs, and have no contact with Cartwright without court clearance. "I take full responsibility," Bryan stated in a statement at the time. "I'm committed to making changes." The promise rang hollow. Just 3 months later, in October 2021, Bryan was arrested again, this time in Oklahoma City for felony aggravated assault. Authorities alleged he hit a woman in the face during a pub fight, shattering her orbital bone. The victim, unidentified in reports, required surgery. Bryan claimed it was mutual combat, but prosecutors weren't buying it. He spent 48 hours in jail before bond, and the charge was ultimately reduced to a misdemeanor. He walked with time served and a $1,000 fine, but the probation from Oregon loomed larger, sparking a violation hearing that added 90 days of house arrest. 2022 provided a temporary respite, or so it appeared. Bryan kept a low profile, focusing on co-parenting his 2 girls from his previous marriage to Carly Matros, divorced in 2022 after 13 years, and rebuilding with Cartwright. He dabbled in voice work and tiny indie projects, even teasing a podcast about life after fame. Fans held out hope, reminiscing about his home improvement days, the tool-time antics with Tim Allen, the awkward teen romance arcs, the effortless charm that made Brad Taylor a fan favorite. But the calm was illusory. By late 2022, rumors of financial difficulties began to circulate. According to court documents from a later fraud investigation, Bryan had lost an estimated $200,000 after making significant investments in a botched cryptocurrency scheme. When Bryan was stopped for weaving across lanes in La Quinta, California, in February 2024, the hammer landed. A breathalyzer clocked him at 0.12, well above the legal limit, and investigators found an open bottle of vodka in the passenger seat. Charged with felony DUI, his first major driving offense, he was taken into Riverside County Jail. Photos of a disheveled Bryan in an orange jumpsuit went viral, bringing analogies to other fallen child stars like Macaulay Culkin or Lindsay Lohan. "This isn't the Brad we grew up loving," tweeted one longtime admirer, echoing a sentiment that trended nationwide. Bryan pleaded no guilty in April, receiving 120 days in rehab, a suspended license, and $2,500 in fines. His Oregon probation supervisor noted it as another violation, prolonging his supervision by a year. The downward spiral doubled in October 2024. Another DUI, this time at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on a family vacation gone awry. Bryan was stopped at 2 a.m. for speeding 20 over the limit, eyes hazy and slurring sentences. The arresting officer reported strong odor of alcohol and an empty beer can rolling under the seat. His two girls from his prior marriage were in the back, ages 12 and 10, strapped in but afraid. Charged with child endangerment with the DUI, Bryan spent the night at Horry County Detention Center. The case drew national outrage. Child Protective Services investigated, and Matros, his ex, publicly blasted him on Instagram. "Our girls deserve better than this nightmare." Bryan entered rehab voluntarily, underwent court-ordered counseling, and got 6 months probation on the DUI. But the endangerment charge stuck like glue, adding community service and mandatory parenting classes. The sixth arrest came on January 1st, 2025, New Year's Day of all ironies, in Myrtle Beach again. Bryan was accused of second-degree domestic assault after reportedly hitting a woman, later identified as a new girlfriend, in the face after a New Year's party fight. Witnesses say he threatened to kill her before neighbors interfered. Booked on felony assault, he posted $10,000 bail hours later. The matter was abandoned in March after the victim chose not to file charges, but not before Bryan's Oregon probation was temporarily revoked. He served 30 days in county jail as punishment, emerging gaunt and mute, saying in a rare remark to his lawyer, "Rock bottom isn't the end, it's the foundation for change." Now, this sixth arrest, a probation violation connected to restricted communication with Cartwright, feels like the cruelest twist. In addition to being a relapse, the incident put 3 toddlers in danger. Sheriff's allegations depict a terrible picture: shouting, escalating to attempted vehicular assault, children wailing in the back seat as the truck flipped into the ditch. No serious injuries, thank God, but the psychological scars? Incalculable. Since the 2020 strangulation accusation, Bryan and Cartwright have been on and off, co-parenting their children in the midst of cycles of violence and reconciliation. Court documents reveal at least 3 no-contact orders broken since 2021. He's trapped in a toxic loop, an anonymous family friend claims. He loves those kids, but he can't love himself enough to walk away. Bryan's descent is a harsh reminder of kid stardom's ugly underbelly. Home Improvement aired from 1991 to 1999, turning Bryan, discovered at 10 in a Colorado talent search, into a household star. As Brad, he personified the all-American teen. Brash yet kind, competent with a wrench, navigating crushes, and car mishaps with Tim Allen's harsh counsel. The show was a ratings powerhouse, garnering Bryan 3 Young Artist Awards and a whopping $30,000 per episode by season 8. Post-series, he chased the dream. Parts in The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift, 2006 as a street racer, indie features like Raising the Bar, even producing The Bronze, 2015. But Hollywood's fickle. By his mid-20s, offers dried up. Bryan moved to real estate in Oregon, flipping properties with his then-wife Carly. Before the Fishers appeared, they appeared stable and had 3 children. Divorce papers filed in 2020 declared irreconcilable differences, but insiders believe drink and seclusion fueled the separation. Bryan traveled to Eugene, shacked up with Cartwright, a yoga instructor 12 years his junior, and had 3 more babies in quick succession. Financial difficulties increased, including poor investments, alimony disputes, and a fraud charge in 2022 for allegedly defrauding investors in a fictitious flip project, dismissed for lack of proof. Fame gave him everything too soon, says entertainment psychologist Dr. Elena Vasquez, not engaged in Bryan's case. Child actors often lack the tools for adult storms. Add untreated trauma, substance issues, it's a perfect storm. Tim Allen, Bryan's on-screen dad and real-life mentor, has been mute publicly, but apparently sought out after the 2024 DUI. Tim's heartbroken, a person close to the cast of Home Improvement said. He sees Zach as the son he never had going wrong. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Randy, tweeted cryptically post-arrest, "Some fixes need more than tools, praying for healing." Fans, meantime, are divided. Akta Free Zach petitions conflict with Akta Justice for Victims, please. Bryan lost custody of his elder kids momentarily after the child endangerment allegation. Matros has primary currently with supervised visits. Bryan, who is 44 years old, a father of 5, and has a criminal record longer than his IMDb, is sitting in Lane County Jail with mugshot number 6 staring back with sunken eyes. The question isn't only what next, but also, is there a next? Rehab stints. He's done 4 since 2020, haven't stuck. Anger management classes, skipped. AA meetings, sporadic, yet glimmers persist. Bryan attended a screenplay course in 2023, published a memoir draft on Fame's double-edged hammer. If released, expect more probation, potential jail time for the violation, up to 18 months, and required family counseling. Bryan's tale isn't unique. It's epidemic. From Amanda Bynes' breakdowns to Angus T. Jones's Scientology exodus, kid stars burn bright and fade hard. But with 6 arrests in 5 years, it's a red flag blowing in a hurricane. The irony hurts for the boy who once joked, "Dad, tools are for building, not breaking." Bryan needs more than a toolbox now. He needs a lifeline. As court dates draw, one hope lingers. Redemption arcs exist. Bryan might be the next chapter in Hollywood's hard luck ledger, or its cautionary closing. In any case, it seems like a universe away from the Taylor's garage.